Welcome to the Year of the Movie podcast, the podcast where we talk about movies from the year of the movie 2023. I'm Sebastian,
I'm Maggie.
and this is our first recording back from our little break, and our first recording in a year that isn't the year the podcast is about.
We are no longer in the year of the movie.
We are now in the year of 2024.
The year of the movie.
We are AYOTMP.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah, we'll work on that
Yeah.
one.
So expect a rebrand coming soon. We're also in a different room.
Yeah, so for video and if audio sounds different,
It is.
it's different.
We are at our client's studio space, which we are able to use for stuff like this,
Yeah.
which is a fun relationship to have.
It is.
Very cool. You do feel weirdly far away, and I didn't realize how close those couches were.
Yeah, we're usually much closer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dead space in this shot for sure.
The amount of time that we don't touch each other unless it's a bit, you feel weirdly far away from me.
I can be closer, Maggie. You
No,
just have to ask.
Not today. Anyway,
Yeah. So movies.
yeah. So why we started this podcast?
Yeah. So 2023, was a goofy year
Wow, past
for
tense.
movies.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of weird things came out. A lot of weird things happened in terms of movie making.
Yep.
Examples of weird movies: Strays,
65.
65, 80 for Brady.
Cocaine Bear.
There was a George Foreman movie that I don't know if anyone ever actually watched.
There were a lot of biopics. There were a lot of stand-up comedians who made movies.
Yep.
Barbenheimer,
Mhm.
and then strikes, which we'll talk about a little bit later, which will impact movies into the future. So
Yeah,
we
it's
might
weird.
feel the effects of the year of the movie.
It's weird because I feel like we already because I remember in 2022 when trailers started coming out
Mhm.
for for the year of the movie. I was like, oh, there's some weird stuff coming out.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't there's some interesting stuff coming out.
So there's a couple that I've seen. So
Yeah.
part of that is a lot of movies changed their release date because of the strikes, and they
Yeah.
wanted to. So a lot of them have been pushed to 2024, like the Dune Part 2,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't necessarily goofy, but that the
Even
Craven. What is the Jake? What's his face from New Girl? And he has to survive for 30 days.
Oh yeah. I don't remember what it's called. Andy Samberg is playing himself.
Yeah, that one. The goofiest one that I've seen for 2024. Oh, Argyle is the other one that
Oh,
was
yeah.
supposed to release this year or 2023.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was supposed to release in 2023, but it has 2023 energy. Is Lisa Frankenstein?
Oh yeah.
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 So I am looking forward to that one.
Yeah, like that and Argyle, are goofy movies
Yeah.
that I'm looking forward to. But I just mean in the same level of just oh, this is not cinema.
Yeah.
Of just 65 and Strays. Strays just came out kind of in the end of the year of 2023, but the trailer
Mhm.
was
Pretty early.
real early, and so it's just and I'm not seeing that, and I think it's because of the strikes, and it's
Mhm.
just interesting to see
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. I think part of that is what made you know what, we'll get into it later of what made 2023 the year of the movie. Anyway, if you like what we're doing so far, you could consider supporting us on Patreon or subscribing to our channels or following us on podcasting platforms and
Both
or
those are helpful.
leaving a review. It's very helpful. We really appreciate it. We also appreciate the feedback that we've gotten in person from a couple of people. That's been super cool.
It's been nice.
Yeah.
I'll say our Patreon only $5.
That's
Only
true.
$5.
That's true.
For a small $5 a month. You can make our day
Yeah. Every day.
every day for a
Yeah.
month.
And the next one, you're gonna make it again.
It's a beautiful relationship.
So today is not a movie review. We're looking at our standings. This is our 20th episode.
Everyone just turned the podcast
Yeah.
off.
So the thing that we just said it's about is not happening today.
Not today.
Yeah.
Because we took a break. We took a
Mhm.
little holiday break.
Mhm.
Things are happening behind the scenes that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And moving
We're
forward on projects and
we're
stuff.
gonna be busy for the next month and a half, so we're trying to do stuff now.
Yeah. And if you want to know what kind of stuff, go check out our other podcast, the Virtual House Session.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, enough self promo. So we're gonna look at highlights of the year of the movie 2023. We're gonna look at our averaged ratings, what that standings look like, and then if we have a personal top five, what movies are we looking forward to kind of just mention now, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I ask
you can ask.
if 2023 was a movie, was it successful?
Yes, actually.
Interesting.
Uh, okay, because of what a solid transition. So, 2023. Domestic box office surpassed $9 billion, which is the best
It's more than
year.
I have.
It's more than the same, and it's also the best year since the pandemic.
Okay.
Um,
Wow, so it really
it's the year of the movie.
got us up.
So CNN says compared to 2019, 2023 had 17 fewer wide release films, which makes the total earnings more impressive.
Yeah.
And then compared to 2020, there was a 300% jump in the gross earnings. The most corporate way to phrase the year ever was this quote that's also from that same CNN article that said, 2023 was one of the most tumultuous, confounding, and indeed exciting years for the industry, with audiences enthusiastically interested in the movie-going experience and the films on offer at the multiplex while delivering insights into what is appealing and what is not from their perspectives, as reflected in the many unexpected hits and misses during the year. That's all one sentence.
Good.
So all of that just means weird movies made money this year. My theory for why that happened is the development hell that everyone was in 2020 made people just say yes to whatever. And then 2023, I feel like, is far enough away from, like, I don't consider there being a specific like end point to the pandemic. I think 2023 is far enough away though for a lot of people to feel comfortable to go back to
Yeah,
the
and I think
theaters
people definitely were going back more.
because there were weirder movies that were
Yeah.
out.
Well, it's also just like in terms of TV too. Like I don't know exactly why, but like TV
Hmm.
viewership has been up this year. For things like award shows and all of like the Golden Globes or
Yeah.
and then other like Thanksgiving Day Parade and the
Mhm.
dog show. Like all of that was up
Yeah.
this year, which is weird because it's been going down
Yeah.
the past few years.
Right.
So I don't know what it was for the year of the movie that everyone was like, you know, let's give mass media a
Yeah.
try again.
um so that $9 billion mark is, I think, 2019 the total was $11 billion. So we're not at pre-pandemic levels,
We're
but
getting
this
back.
we're bouncing back. 300% gross. I know math. That's pretty good.
And we have Cocaine Bear to thank.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was also going to say is like people saying yes to random movies is there was that Elizabeth Banks interview where she said like she read the script for Cocaine Bear while she was isolating during the pandemic.
Yeah.
She was like, "Why wouldn't I say yes to this? This is what my mental state is right now."
Yeah.
So I feel like if Elizabeth Banks was going through that, everyone else was too.
Which I hope that like it does show the world of Hollywood of just like, yeah, people like weird things.
They'll
We
watch it.
want original weird things. We don't
Yeah.
just want the same old,
The recycled IP,
yeah.
which there was a lot of that this year
Oh, for
too.
sure, but they didn't do great.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
Indiana Jones,
yeah.
ooh,
We still haven't seen it yet.
nope,
Yeah.
and still won't.
Yeah.
Still, we do an episode about it.
Yes. Barbenheimer, two of those original IPs. So Greta Gerwig is the first solo female filmmaker to have a film earn $1 billion. Oppenheimer made $955 million.
So close.
Barbenheimer gave AMC its largest single-week admissions revenue since the company was founded in 1920. Those are good numbers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Barbenheimer started as a meme, became a real experience of people doing the double feature thing of watching Barbie and watching Oppenheimer.
I'm trying to think like what this
I-
year's Barbenheimer could even be. but I
I
don't
don't
know.
think there is one.
Yeah, I mean, nothing can ever be Barbenheimer. It'll be its own different thing.
Right.
Just like another like movie event. And I don't think
I don't know enough
there
about
isn't anything that's like juxtaposing each other enough
on the same
on the
day.
same
Yeah.
day.
I don't know enough about the movies that are coming out in 2024 to say like,
Yeah.
and this is going to be the next one or like,
And
something.
don't expect us to know
Anything.
anything about 2024 because we're focusing on
2020.
2023.
We'll probably still talk about 2024 movies just like every once in a while because
Yeah.
we'll watch new stuff. We do that sometimes.
We'll probably talk about Argyle.
Yeah.
It's got Sam Rockwell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah. Video game movies were big at the beginning and the end of the year. Super Mario Bros. Was one of the first big box office hits of the year with $1.3 billion.
Wow, that movie is a ninth of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there was also a huge opening weekend for Five Nights at Freddy's that was more recently.
Yeah.
I forgot to get a specific number on that, but you know, a nice bookend to the beginning and end of the
I
year.
don't think it was as successful as Mario.
No,
But
it's not near the 1.3 billion mark, but it was number one in its opening weekend. That much I know.
yeah.
Yeah, and then streamers made some interesting moves.
Sure did.
So, a quote from an Esquire piece says, continuing from the disappearance of Batgirl last year, the promise of the streaming era took another knock this year. It wasn't just upcoming originals being denied a release and written off for tax purposes, as happened late in the year with the high-tested Coyote versus Acme, but existing streaming-only titles began unceremoniously removed from services. Disney Plus jettisoned story works like the Willow series and the Artemis Fowl film. Paramount Plus sent Grease series Rise of the Pink Ladies off in a flying car and banished the Twilight Zone revival to, well, the Twilight Zone. HBO Max removed Westworld after not renewing it for a final season and ditched Snowpiercer too. The dream of everything being available always is well and truly over.
Yeah, this is such a weird
This
thing.
is the bad side of the year of the movie.
Yeah. And this is less about movies and just streaming in general, but like
Yeah.
it's just weird that Netflix is coming back to being the main streamer because what's happening is all of these independent companies were like, "Oh, we can just do our own streaming and then we don't have to pay Netflix."
Right.
And then they were like, "Oh, it's really expensive to have our own servers." And so that's why they're getting rid of all of these things off of their servers because it's cheaper to
Mhm.
not have as much. But they can still make money by renting it out to Netflix
Mhm.
or Amazon.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're doing again. So like all of like the HBO stuff is basically going back to Netflix, which is goofy.
Mhm.
And that's because of the Discovery merger with
Yeah.
Warner Brothers and Zaslav. And it's just I don't know how I feel about it. I appreciate that there potentially could be fewer streamers again, but Netflix clearly knew what they were doing when we all thought they were idiots.
Mhm.
And, you know, they're upping their prices. You can't share your password anymore.
Mhm.
So now we pretty much are like,
Which those things are still bad, but from a
yes.
like business perspective,
I'm clearly, yeah.
yeah, I'm not on board as a user.
No.
If I was part of that 1%, sure.
Yeah, when I say they know what they were doing, I meant for the money aspect, not for helping us.
Yeah.
And then also Coyote versus Acme
Mhm.
is being shopped around supposedly
Yeah.
to a streamer. So theoretically, we will still be able to watch that one
Yeah.
because that one really was just like everyone who watched this was like, this is a great movie. Like it's going to be a box office smash.
hmm
And then HBO was like,
Yeah. So the writing off movies for tax purposes is like
it's so sad. Like,
the darkest version of the business part of the movie business.
yeah.
And I
And like if you're like
hate
a
that.
if you're just like a fan of movies, you should be sad about that too. But like
Yeah.
we are
Mhm.
filmmakers, we
But,
make our own
yeah.
movies, and so it's just like the knowing that that is an option of like your project that you spend years on could get fully made,
Mhm.
and then it's just never released because
I think there's an assumed level of trust, or at least there used to be, of like once you get to the distribution part, then it's out there and people can see it, and that's super cool.
it's at least at this point in time on a streamer somewhere.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's not super possible, and or it's not super guaranteed anymore.
yeah,
Um, Part of that like change too, also not super related to movies, but is like influencers, or like if you make any kind of content like we do, then like we can't guarantee that just because it's on YouTube, like there's you're giving over some element of control by having it on a different server. People can watch it, great, but we can't control certain aspects of it because
yeah,
it's not on our platform, and that's not a thing we really have the power to look into at this point. So it's just like it's very frustrating, and also like I don't think I put it here, but a lot of animation stuff has also happened in 2023 that
sad year for
yeah,
animation.
yeah, similar thing of mostly Max, but other things too, of getting rid of a bunch of
Yeah,
animated series and wiping things from their platforms. So like that's unfortunate for viewers that they can't see that stuff, but it also sucks for the artists because now they don't have anything in their portfolio to point towards of like
yeah.
we have this I worked on this successful series that's on this platform that's rated 5 stars or whatever.
Mhm.
It sucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, when we say it's the year of the movie,
We mean in the good and the bad.
yeah.
um Another part of the trickier bits of 2023 were the strikes that happened. Um So the SAG-AFTRA and WGA, which are the actors and writers strikes, they both happened this year. So no actors and no writers means nothing was getting made, and that impacts 2024 and beyond. So maybe we'll still get goofy stuff coming out because
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like 2025 will probably be goofier than 24,
yes,
but because like right now, I feel like the tone is
serious.
serious.
It's swinging back to serious
Yeah,
because
which like always
yeah,
does, like it happens because like
yeah.
2022 was like a genuinely fantastic year
Hmm.
for cinema
Yeah,
and
capital C cinema.
art,
Yeah.
and then 2023 just was like six dinosaurs, Adam Driver, and dogs that talk and they say the bad words. And old ladies driving to go see Tom Brady. Like,
We talk about 80 for Brady a lot. Number one, haven't seen it yet. Number two, haven't looked into it yet if it's a cultural touchstone, but we keep talking about it because
yeah,
it's funny.
it's very funny that they made that
Yeah.
movie. I think it would be a good movie for our series finale.
All of this is leading up to
80
80 for
for Brady.
Brady. Yeah. Assuming it's still available on Paramount Plus by then, whenever we get
It's
there.
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. That's another thing. That's another hurdle we're gonna have to face.
Yeah, there's so many. So, like, we're doing our best to
Mm.
watch as many of the 2023 Hallmark movies,
Mhm.
which we could do a whole podcast just on those.
We won't,
We won't, but
because
Hall
my brain would have
yeah,
melted.
Hallmark takes their movies down almost instantly after
Yeah.
putting them on streamers, and so finding them is almost impossible.
Hmm.
So eventually we'll do an episode on Hallmark 2023.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a lot of stuff is just gonna be like, I hope we can find it.
Yeah.
Check
I'm
our library. Check.
The Christmas movies are goofy in general. If we miss it, or if you hear about us talking about one of them
Yeah.
and then you can't see it, you're not missing a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Yeah, so the writer's strike happened from May 2nd to September 27th. The actor strike was July 14th to November 9th. The main issues were not receiving residuals from streaming and the possibility of studios using AI to write scripts. They also got some healthcare stuff, I think, figured out in the final negotiations.
Yeah, it wasn't like
It wasn't
everything they
it
wanted.
wasn't the ideal
It
deal.
was better than what they had.
Yeah, which is the point of a strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still just like,
Fine. We're asking for the bare minimum
yeah.
and maybe getting it.
And it was also just, I don't know. I know funny isn't the right word. It's funny to me.
Ironic?
Well, all of the studio execs were just like, no, we're not doing that.
Hmm.
we're gonna wait it out. You're gonna come back.
Yeah.
Then 6 months went by, or whatever it was, 5 months, four, I don't know, months went by.
Yeah.
Um, and then it was like up until the end, they were still like, nah, it's cool. And then a week later, they were like, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone was holding out. So yeah. Any other highlights of the year you want to talk about before we get to our standings?
Oh gosh. Oh Lord.
There were so many.
Um, Technically, our short film premiered in 2023
That's true.
at a film festival.
That's true.
We can do more self-promotion.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that comes out 2024.
November 2024.
Check out the trailer now for Hello, My Name is Friend Man.
By the time you're watching this, it's been out for weeks.
Yeah, maybe a month. Anyway, our ratings. So these are
What? So first, I think we should say what we've watched or talked about so far, and then go through the ratings.
okay.
Um,
So in order, or wait,
Okay.
our episode order. So we had 65,
yeah.
Cocaine Bear. We Have a Ghost, Somebody I Used to Know, Knock at the Cabin, Renfield, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, Inside, A Haunting in Venice, Asteroid City, Chupa, Bottoms, Haunted Mansion, Old Dads, Somewhere in Queens, Paint, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and The Marvels.
Yeah. So we've done, if you couldn't tell, 19 episodes.
19 episodes, 8,
21.
21 movies. Yeah.
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 Because the Marvel episode we just did one episode.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's 19 weeks
Mm-hmm.
of talking about a podcast or talking about movies for
Mhm.
a podcast, and we've barely scratched the surface.
Literally hundreds more to go.
Hundreds more.
Yeah.
So hopefully you like this podcast and are excited to reminisce about the movies of yesteryear.
In 2026, we're gonna talk about
We'll
some...
finally talk
yeah.
about 80 for Brady.
This is gonna become a nostalgia podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's relevant
Yeah.
because it's close enough.
Cinema.
Cinema.
Yeah. Okay, so
Our ratings.
our ratings.
Averaged ratings.
Our average ratings. This is including like episodes that are just us, and then if we have guests,
Yeah.
and also Bryce.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is lowest to highest, and some of these are tied. So I just put them
Mhm.
in a random order.
Yeah.
The tied
So
ones.
our lowest,
Shocking.
our only one that has this score
Yeah.
of a 0.5
Out of 4.
out of 4 is Old Dads.
Yep.
So if you haven't watched that episode and you're like, oh man, why'd you guys give it a 0.5? Go check it out.
Yeah.
I called Bill Burr a hipster, and then people online
Got confused.
got confused and upset.
Listen, we are not the target audience. And
Yeah, no, and we even admit that.
yeah, but
From a movie standpoint,
from a movie standpoint of what it claimed to do, it didn't.
no.
Anyway, Chupa,
Troopa,
it got a 1.
Troopa got a 1, and
I stand by it.
I stand by it, but I also do think if you want a dumb kids movie, why not give it a try just to see?
This is not one that I would recommend parents watch with their kids just because it's so boring.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
There's just some goofiness in it that I think when you're older you can appreciate.
It's
Like-
funny for reasons that aren't supposed to be funny.
A man gets suplexed like
Yeah.
in a very funny way.
Bad CGI leopard.
Yeah, like
It's got everything. Christian Slater is there.
Christian Slater's there for whatever reason.
Paint.
That's a
got a
1 as
1.
well, and I don't
stand by
I don't
it.
recommend watching that one.
No. Yeah. It's got some pretty pictures. If you just look at stills from that movie, looks cool.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Haunted Mansion got a 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. From our average at least. So I think let me look at the yeah, we both gave it a 1 and then Bryce gave it a 1 in
Oh,
quotes.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I thought Bryce gave it a higher, which is why I figured.
No, he was disappointed by it. He
Yeah.
had bones to pick with
He
that.
did. It's true.
Um, Inside got
Now,
a 1.
now, to clarify, that's not the Bo Burnham Inside.
No.
This is Willem
Willem
Dafoe
Dafoe.
Inside. This is,
A cool concept, bad execution.
yeah, I think this is one of the few movies that we have ranked one or lower that I don't recommend it for anybody. Like,
I couldn't rewatch
I
this
could
one.
not rewatch this
The
one.
next one that's on this, I could rewatch,
And
and
we
maybe
will.
we will.
Because we're gonna talk about it again.
65. We
It's
gave it a 1
we gave it a 1, and I think I probably stand by it.
for sure. The
But
plot was not good.
yeah, but it is the movie that really sparked
Started it all.
podcast because I saw that trailer and like the trailer is so goofy because they're showing scenes of Adam Driver on a planet
hmm
and it's like teasing that there's some sort of monster
It looks like an alien movie.
and
Like
then a graphic comes on the screen that says 65 million years ago and that was enough that
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is the year of the movie."
I watched that trailer and my brain broke because I was trying to think of the logic of like,
Yep.
are they dinosaurs? Are they aliens? Are they alien dinosaurs?
Uh-huh.
Who is the alien?
Yep.
Who is the dinosaur?
And it's not what you would expect.
No, it's worse. Cocaine Bear. We
Mhm.
gave it a 2.
Yeah. And this, I recommend watching it. It's a fun movie. It's just not like,
It's an enjoyable 2.
yeah.
I don't know if I would give it a 3,
No.
but I I would give it a 2.5, but we don't do halves in our ratings.
Correct.
So, robust 2.
Yep.
Somebody I used to know, not a robust 2. That's a sad 2.
That's a sad too.
That's
And
a frustrating 2.
and that movie is the main reason we talk about the trailers
Yeah.
in our episodes.
Because the marketing for it was so wildly different from the movie itself. That's why we were talking earlier before we were recording of like if we're gonna keep talking about the trailers in movies,
Yeah.
I do feel like we should keep talking about the trailers just because the way that a movie advertises itself
Yeah.
in cases like this can be so wildly different than what it ends
No,
up
that's
being.
fair.
Knock at the Cabin. We gave it a 2. It had some good elements
It has
in
some really solid elements.
it. It is a pretty average. We're about halfway through the list. It is very middle of the road
Yeah.
of like the cinematography is cool, the
The acting is good.
acting is really good, the premise is really good. What lets it down is that it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie that does not have an M. Night Shyamalan twist,
Yeah.
and that bothers me. And I also read it and I liked the book more, which I know I had mentioned that I was going to do.
Yeah. I don't
when
think
we
you ever
recorded that
said.
episode. Yeah. Um,
But it seems to be like with that story specifically, like the book is loads better
The-
than the story that M. Night told.
so spoilers for Knock at the Cabin and also Cabin at the End of the World, the book. But M. Night Shyamalan did not want to kill the daughter that's in the movie, which
Hate.
yeah, which I get it, you have limits, but not to like advocate for that, but in the book, the
It's
way
fine. You can say you want to kill children.
just that one,
Say it out loud so we have a clip of it. Say it, you coward. Of all of the things I've said on this podcast.
yeah, that's so weird that I wouldn't join you on that road. So in the book, the daughter dies, but it's accidental,
Yeah.
and there's so many more gray areas of like, does it count as them like as a sacrifice for them to save the world? Is the world even ending in the first place? Are these people like actually are is it true, or are they just in like a shared psychosis thing? Like all those things that the movie touched on and then didn't actually develop at all, the book does it in a very effective way. And the ending is like Paul Tremblay, the author, said in an interview that like he considers the ending to be much more like defiant and optimistic of like even if the world is ending, they're going to choose each other and they're not going to like harm each other because of everything that they've gone through. And the movie does not do that.
The twist in the movie is that there is an actual apocalypse.
And that's not even a twist.
Nope.
because you see in the opening credits
There's
that it's fine.
there's a whole episode about it.
Yeah, if you want to.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania
2.5 with our average ratings,
out
because
of 4 people.
yeah, yeah. I think you and what is it? Yeah,
Yeah, Sean and I gave it a 3.
Sean. Yeah, you and Sean gave it a 3. I gave it a 2. Bryce gave it a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some good stuff, some bad stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think 2.5 is an accurate rating.
Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem,
That's
2.5.
2.5.
Um,
I gave it a 2.
yeah.
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 I stand by that.
Uh, yeah, it's fine.
That's pretty much that movie.
2.5 for Renfield.
This was
It's
an enjoyable
good.
2.5.
Yeah.
It's just there's some stuff that like the scale is all over the place, right?
I
It's like,
enjoyed it a lot.
yeah, it was a really fun movie. I'd watch this movie several
Mm-hmm.
more times. It's just there are things that still it doesn't mean it's like a great movie. There's some story elements that are missing.
There's some story elements that feel cookie cutter.
Yeah.
That, like, for every, as wild as the rest of this premise is, of like an assistant to Dracula
Yep.
that's living in the modern world, and then the trailer, not to the same level of somebody I used to know, but the trailer kind of makes it seem like the story is going to be like him going through therapy, and like the idea of putting
Yeah.
modern therapy talk over the Dracula story, super unique.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't quite fully commit to doing that the entire
It,
time.
it goes more into an action comedy,
Yeah.
which I enjoy. Like a lot of it, and maybe it's because they both take place in New Orleans. But a lot of it reminded me just in like the style of shooting in action, and I don't think I ever said this, was that Sam Rockwell movie, Mr. Right.
Mm.
Just a lot of it was just like it's just like that kind of like loose premise,
Yeah.
have some really cool, funny fight scenes,
Yeah.
and I love that kind of movie. So
The fight scenes were good in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a ghost. We gave it a 3.
yeah, which man,
Maybe it's a little too high.
I don't know. I think I agree with the 3. I just think that like it goes under the radar. Like it's an under the radar 3
It is.
because it's just like, yeah, it was a surprisingly good movie.
I think that this one does also have cookie cutter plot elements to it, but it does it in a somehow more effective way than Renfield does, where it fully sticks with the modern stuff of like,
Commits more.
yeah. Basically, the only thing that I was a little iffy on with that movie was people saw a video of a ghost and they were like, 100% confirmed, verified ghost exists.
Yeah.
This obviously isn't a filter or AI.
Yeah.
I fully believe what's in front of me. And this went viral immediately, which is not anything against We Have a Ghost specifically. That's just how movie logic works sometimes. Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, we also gave it a 3.
And that's with Bryce's input as well.
And Sean,
Sort of. Sean
Braley.
Braley, sort of input.
for the parts that he saw, then he gave it a 3.
I like that for this show, not including Bryce, the only guests that we have been named Sean.
We got to keep that streak going.
If your name is Sean and you want to talk about a movie from the year of the movie 2023,
Email us.
email us. We'll see what we can do.
A Haunting in Venice is a 3.
Yeah, which I've learned that my mother did not like that movie.
Yeah.
Which
I don't think mine has seen it yet.
I thought it was a solid movie.
As a Q Bravo
Wow.
fan and Kenneth Branagh hater. That's my Venn diagram middle.
Yeah.
I liked it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Because I don't like him
Yeah.
and I don't like what he's done with that character. And this movie surprised me in a good way.
Yeah.
So, 3.
Mhm.
Somewhere in Queens.
Mhm.
Gave it a 3.
That's 3.
Another under the radar one.
Yeah. And it's a solid 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I think it was close to a 4 for me, but
Mhm.
it didn't quite stand out enough
hmm
to be a 4.
It's a really impressive directorial debut.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's nothing like. I think it's a 3 because it's not a standout because it's like, it's not that it's safe, but it's a story thing that
It's
we've
not a
kind of seen.
new story.
It's not new,
Yeah.
but Ray Romano made what he knows, and that
Mhm.
helped it a lot.
Yeah.
The Marbles is a 3.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think because that one Bryce didn't review,
No.
and so that was just Sean, you, and myself. So we
Mhm.
all gave it a 3.
Yeah. It was pretty good. Not my favorite Marvel.
No,
Yeah.
but it's not as bad as everyone was making it out to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We gave it a 3.5.
2 of us gave it a full. 2 of us gave it a 3.
Mm-hmm. It's a solid movie.
Huh.
I can't watch it again.
Find out why in our episode.
And then our 2 top movies of the year
So
so
far,
far,
there's one that we're waiting.
because we want to try and get a guest for it.
Yeah.
Which I should figure out how to do that. But yeah, we want to get a cool guest for it. But yeah, so like of movies that we've seen 3 movies that we gave 4s. We've reviewed 2 of them on the podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because there are things that we've seen. Because we did see Barbie.
Yes,
We haven't done an episode on Barbie.
that's true.
This is just the episodes that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
That have gotten 4s.
Yes. So Asteroid City, we gave it a 4, and Bottoms, we gave it a 4.
Yeah.
I stand by both of those. Very different 4s.
Yes, very different.
Asteroid City is like the cinema 4. It's one of the like, as much as we keep talking about all the goofy movies that have come out this year, there were some other ones that are like for sure guaranteed Oscar nominee, whatever. Like the more traditional, like,
I mean, there still has to be Oscars.
right.
It's not like they're gonna be like, actually, guys, the selection this year was kind of piss poor.
We're skipping this one. Yeah.
No, because
Yeah.
there's gonna be some weird independent movie we've never heard of. That's gonna be like, oh, it's got nominated, and then we're gonna be like, okay, I guess
Yeah.
we have to add things to our list.
Yeah. Yeah. So Asteroid City and Bottoms
Both got 4s.
both got
Yeah.
4s.
And on the Oscars front, don't expect us. I'm coming at you, viewers. I'm coming in hot.
Whoa.
Don't expect us to have seen all the Oscar movies. Okay?
Okay.
Because we got to spread these movies out over years.
Do we have personal top 5?
Of the ones that we've done episodes on?
Yeah. So because the ratings are like so
Yeah.
tied for a lot of them, yeah. Just wondering what's our, we've got some robust 2s and 3s. I don't know. This is purely
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah. I think We Have a Ghost would probably be my top. Like in
What's
terms
your favorite?
like I'm gonna rank these in terms of like if I'm at home and I just want to put something on,
Mm-hmm.
I think We Have a Ghost would probably
It's pretty rewatchable.
it's rewatchable, it's like chill enough that my brain isn't going like what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bottoms, great movie, so much happens in that,
You do have to pay attention.
and it's just like what is happening, and like so many things that I saw online were just like I didn't understand this movie. What was even happening? Like I don't get it.
Ew.
Boo to that.
Yeah.
But I do understand the if you just like want to not think, you just want to put something fun on. Totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think We Have a Ghost would be my top.
I think, um, I know I made this question. I don't know if I have a top 5.
Sure.
I think I have a top 3.
Well, let's do top 3 then.
Great. I'm gonna do Bottoms, Renfield, and
Old dad.
yeah, a real curveball. I think I'm gonna do Somewhere in Queens.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. I think Cocaine Bear is, honorable mention, even though we only gave it a 2.
Yeah, I think Cocaine Bear is probably also my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. We Have a Ghost, Bottoms, and then probably Guardians of the Galaxy, just
Mhm.
'cause I'm a big Marvel guy,
Yeah.
so I'm sure that I will just put that on at some point.
I'm not including Asteroid City for probably the same reason that you're not including uh Bottoms as like a favorite.
Yeah.
Of like there's it's not that there's too much that's going on in it, it's just it's a Wes Anderson movie and that requires a different part of my brain to watch that.
Yeah, and that's also not my favorite of his, despite me giving it a 4. Like,
It's like technically good.
yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot while watching it. There's some really cool, well thought out elements of like stories about stories are very interesting to me. So it's cool how he did this particular version. All of that being said, I enjoyed Bottoms more, like the viewing experience. Yeah. Uh, Maybe honorable mention to Haunting in Venice,
no, not for me.
but
D&D, I think.
yeah,
That was a fun movie.
yeah,
Like,
it
I
is.
was surprised because, like, it's D&D.
Mm-hmm.
The original D&D movies from like the 90s, early 2000s were terrible.
Yeah,
And so like this was just like, oh no, like this was a well-rounded
yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Are there any of these ratings that you were surprised by? Either how
Oh,
high they were or how low they
yeah,
were.
Paint.
Paint, I was surprised by.
Paint was the biggest one.
Inside, I was surprised by, just because I expected it to be like a big cinema capital.
Yeah, I
C
would have
movie.
expected at least a 2.
Yeah,
And
but it was just so hard to get through.
yeah, it was a drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Paint and Inside are the biggest surprises. Well, Haunting in Venice. I did not expect to like that movie.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I wasn't super surprised at Haunted Mansion being a 1. It felt like a bit of a corporate money grab.
Yeah.
After Bryce giving his lecture on the haunted mansion like lore and what he would like to see from it, it's like, yeah, I don't even know if this quite delivers for like the true fans
Yeah.
either. 65 wasn't super surprised at being
No, I wasn't. I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed.
yeah.
I wanted it to be a good movie.
I wanted it to be a fun watch.
Yeah.
Like we were saying,
Adam Driver,
yeah.
dinosaurs, great combo,
Yeah.
and they just squandered.
Yeah. Chupa, as dumb as that is, kind of a fun watch because of how dumb it is.
Yeah, but
60
not maybe
yeah.
for kids.
Yeah, 65, not really.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What movies are we looking forward to in 2024 or ones that we haven't covered yet? What's next for the Year of the Movie podcast?
Well, what's next? I mean, we've watched. I mentioned we watched Bar. We haven't talked about it. We've watched the Please Don't Destroy movie.
The Treasure of Foggy Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we watched Strays. Have we watched anything? I've watched the DC movies. You haven't watched those yet.
I have not watched those.
Oh, not. I haven't seen Aquaman yet.
Yeah. I watched something that you haven't seen yet.
At one of the screenings.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched Next Goal Wins,
Oh yeah, I
which
have
was
not.
Taika Waititi's. I'm excited to talk about that one
Yeah.
because I love Taika
I
Waititi.
have not seen that one yet. I would like to see Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
So many things. And
So
then,
many.
I mean, it might be in theaters still because it came out, but that Emma Stone,
Poor Things.
Poor Things.
Poor Things I'm
That
interested in.
if that doesn't get nominated for an
Yeah.
Oscar, then it's a trash movie.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, it is.
oh really?
I mean, for Golden Globes, so it's gonna get nominated.
Oh, okay, okay, it's getting nominated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beau is Afraid. We haven't seen that
Oh
yet.
yeah.
That came out in 2023.
Jeez.
Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, that one.
I'm excited
Yes,
for that one.
one. I'm definitely.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Exactly.
Jeez. And like that's.
Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget.
Oh yeah.
Theater Camp.
Oh my God.
Uh,
I forgot. There's just too
Fix
many.
the Musical.
I don't care about that one.
I'm curious about that
I'm
one.
definitely curious, but it's not one where I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Dumb Money, just because of
yeah.
how goofy that was to live through, and then how
Uh,
quickly they made a movie about it. Haven't seen Five Nights at Freddy's yet.
No.
Gran Turismo was a one that I feel like we were very interested in and then just never made it to the theaters to actually see it. Um,
Oh, the Iron Claw, did that actually get released?
maybe. Big old maybe.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited to see Iron Claw.
Yeah. Joyride. I heard some good things about that. Uh, I don't know if excited is the right word for Killers of the Flower Moon. Now we're just going through our list of
Yeah.
movies. Um, that's going to be a movie to get through. I did read that book, and that makes me nervous about the movie.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
the
Leave the World Behind.
American Fiction I want to
Hmm.
see. And then the Holdovers?
Yes, with Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one I really want to see.
He also won a Golden Globe for that.
Yeah, we should
There
do
was that picture of him at In-N-Out with his family with the Golden Globe on the table.
we should do the Holdovers soon.
Yes.
Cuz like a problem with this is also like we want to spread out like
I don't know if we want to do themed months.
yeah, and we don't want to do all of like the oh, this is a really good movie and then just go through trash, 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 trash 'cause
Right.
that's not fun for us.
Yeah.
And so we have to like think about of like okay, we've done a goofy one, maybe we do like a more serious one.
Yeah.
Maybe we do
Well, so our next ones that we've planned out, just because we've seen them,
yeah.
we were gonna do Foggy Mountain next, and then Strays.
Yeah.
So we could do the holdovers after that.
Yeah, we should do
Or
that.
no, we were gonna watch They Clone Tyrone,
Yes, right.
and then
Yeah.
the holdovers.
Yeah, yeah.
I am excited about They Clone Tyrone.
Me
That seems
too.
interesting.
And then there's I keep looking. Oh, I'm not excited about it,
Hmm.
but I do want to watch The Killer with
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that one just because the name is so generic.
Mhm.
Um, No Hard Feelings.
Oh, there's the one oh gosh.
Oppenheimer. We haven't seen
Yeah,
Oppenheimer
we
yet.
haven't seen Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Um, I got to go look at
Hmm.
what he has watched because I can't remember. Oh my gosh.
Relax and from the Future. That was
Oh, that's yeah.
from Our Flag Means Death.
Oh my God.
Can't think of his name. New Zealand actor. Your face. Yep.
This is bugging me.
Want me to look it up?
He plays Murray on Flight of the Conchords. He's in the Jumanji movies.
Riz Darby.
Reese Darby. Man, I should know his name.
Saltburn.
Oh, Saltburn came out.
Yeah. Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
That
It's
one.
gonna be a movie. Slaughterhouse.
Author House.
Excited for the goofy movies like Slaughterhouse.
Raccoon.
Yeah. We haven't talked about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse yet. We didn't include that in our big Marvel stuff.
Polite Society.
Oh,
I'm excited to watch that one.
yes. That is a name that I recognize, and I can't quite remember what the plot is, but
Martial arts.
yeah. Yeah. So we've got some Tetris.
Oh yeah.
We've got some cool movies that we need to get through. If you have preferences on when you want to hear about them,
Let us know.
let us
Get
know.
in the comments and mainly if you this is helpful for us. If
Mhm.
you can go on the YouTube comments or
sure.
Instagram comments,
For sure.
that's where we see things the most.
Hmm.
Or if you're on Patreon.
Hmm.
And there you can be a free member on Patreon.
Oh, neat.
So you can join there and you'll see when we post bonus content. You won't get a look at it unless you pay.
Hmm.
But you'll see when we post the bonus content and you can still leave comments on there.
Hmm.
For the video side, it just links to the YouTube for the regular episodes. But you can still leave comments there
Hmm.
and show that you support us by subscribing to the Patreon.
Hmm.
The podcast stuff, if you can leave comments on podcasts, I don't know how to look at them, if I'm being honest. Because
You
I'm
mean for like Spotify and Apple?
Spotify, Apple,
Yeah.
YouTube, like I don't like the YouTube podcast side or
Right.
whatever. Any other podcasting, because I know that this is on
Wherever you get your podcast.
wherever you get your podcast.
That doesn't mean that we see your comment from wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah. So I don't even know all of our analytics just because there's too many things.
When we're doing too many things.
Yeah.
This is not our main focus right
It's
now.
not.
As much as we enjoy it, we've got other stuff going on.
Yep.
Any other movies we're excited about? I don't want to just list off every movie. Um,
Um, I think that's pretty much.
the Bike Riders because that was in Cincinnati
Oh
or
yeah,
filmed in Cincinnati.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah. So outro.
yeah. Outro. Our other movie that we have watched recently. I can't remember. Did we talk about The Night Before on the last one?
Um,
Or-
we did
Okay.
because that was around. I think we
Yeah,
did.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we won't do that one.
No.
Um.
We watched one of the Star Trek movies.
Oh yeah, I didn't add that because shoot, I have to go back. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We watched Star Trek Generations,
Yeah.
which is the Star Trek film that has both William Shatner and Jean-Luc Picard.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a my brain is not
Fake fan.
open. No, Patrick Stewart. We don't need to look up Patrick Stewart. Yeah, it has both of them
Uh-huh.
uh,
Best of both
in
worlds.
one movie
Mhm.
with Malcolm McDowell as the antagonist.
Mhm.
Um, I love Star Trek.
So therefore, it's a good movie.
This is one of the Star Trek movies that I remember most
Hmm.
from just watching it so many times as a kid, probably because it has both captains, and I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
It's not a good movie.
it's fine.
It's a fine movie
It truly feels like an extended Star Trek episode.
in widescreen.
So if you like that, great. If you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's in a very specific part of the Star Trek timeline.
Yeah.
So you don't. It's not.
It's
like,
rough because of how technology has advanced
Yeah.
that the modern Star Trek, like Strange New Worlds, looks better
Yeah.
than what this movie looked like. And
Yeah.
the movie looked good,
Mhm.
but it's still just like they can do more from
Yeah.
the newer TV shows. Yeah, we watched that.
Hmm.
Um,
I saw the new Mean Girls last night.
mm-hmm. Because you just love Mean Girls.
I do.
No other reason.
No,
Definitely weren't being paid to go see the film.
I was not.
You were.
I was.
Don't lie.
I would never. Yeah, I'm not paid for my opinion. Mine doesn't affect that of my employer,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Um, it I'm not super familiar with the musical, so that was cool. Listening to songs and seeing the stuff. Watching it in a theater with a bunch of people was also a good experience. Um, my little nitpicky bits are actually I don't know if this is little. Um, but the stuff that doesn't age well from the original Mean Girls about weight being such a huge factor for Regina George is super carried into this plot too. Made me go like, meh, like it's part of the plot, and I get that, and but you could change it. Uh,
And it was still like in the terms of too much weight.
yeah, she's gaining weight, and that makes her sad. And like the movie isn't saying like she like her worth changes. Like it's
Yeah.
very much saying like Regina feels like her weight changing affects her self-worth.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't do enough to challenge that to me. Um, and then Janice and Damien are both confirmed queer characters. Damien already was. Janice is kind of like,
Yeah.
now we know. But it's both like in the way that they make meaningful eye contact with someone during a dance number, and that's the person they end up going to prom with. Like
Yeah.
that kind of level of hashtag representation.
I see you.
Yeah. Otherwise, I enjoyed it. Thought casting was pretty good. I like Renee Rapp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this movie did make me think of a question about high school movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did not experience this growing up, so I don't know how accurate it is to real life. But when there is like the mean girl character or like the popular pretty high school girl,
Huh?
and they're like, she's rich, she's pretty, do people actually care about that? Like
Yeah, I mean that's
I
like
know capital S society cares
one
about
of the
that.
tropes for sure.
It's a trope of like she's pretty and that makes her popular. Do people actually care about
So I think this is gonna sound so goofy. I think the 21 Jump Street movie with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum
Yeah.
kind of cover that of how high school has changed since all of
Yes.
those tropes became like tropes.
Yeah.
Uh, because they went to the high school expecting to be cool based off of what they remember,
Hmm.
but then they found out that all of the popular kids are the kids in the AP classes who
Yeah.
were doing all of like the
That's what I remember.
fundraisers. Yeah, like that's what high school was for us. It was
Yeah.
real weird.
Well, so humble brag, I went to a private middle school on scholarship.
Okay.
Um, and that was like everyone was an academic achiever.
Yeah.
Most of the people were like their parents were rich.
Yes.
So like I went to like my friends' places. They had big houses, whatever, cool. It's just like, yeah, that's just the size of Rachel's house. And then they went over to mine, and no one was like, your house is small,"
Yeah.
because they were all pretty chill, as far as I know.
Yeah.
If they weren't, don't tell me. And then my high school.
Someone in the comments is like, actually, Maggie,
Yeah.
we thought you were so gross.
And then in high school, I went to a massive public high school. My
Yeah.
graduating class was 700 people.
And I
Like,
think that's like my school was also, it wasn't that big, but it was
Yeah.
still pretty big. And so like there were cliques and different sides. Like
Yeah.
there were still like the popular jocks, but it was big enough where you never had to deal with them.
yeah,
And so like to me, because like honors and AP classes, the popular kids were like the weird like activist
Yeah.
kids, I guess.
the like popular jock that I can picture in my head, like the closest to real life of like a movie trope, is this dude who was in my sister's class. So he was like 2 years older than me, and his nickname was Big Country. Because he was just a really big dude, and he was on the football team, and he was like, he would be called a himbo now. He had fun personality, huge dude.
Yeah.
So people knew who Big Country was. I don't know what his real name is. Like
Yeah.
that's the closest in my
Also,
head.
my high school, 'cause Bloomington, Indiana, Indiana University, IU has a really good swimming program.
Hmm.
And so like the swimmers kind of fluctuated with like different years of like they were the popular sports
Yeah.
people, and it was just like, why are the swimmers like, it was like the year above me they were the popular sports kids.
Hmm.
My year the swimmers were a lot of nerds,
Hmm.
but they were still really good at swimming.
Yeah.
So it was just like all over the place.
Yeah. We didn't need to go on this whole tangent.
No.
But this movie just made me, or Mean Girls made me think of that, of like,
Crazily enough, I watched
Yeah.
Heat, made me think the same thing.
do people actually care?
No, but I did watch Heat.
Mhm.
It
It was a 3-hour movie.
3 hour movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Hmm.
It's a really solid movie. Michael Mann,
Hmm.
McMahon, Michael Mann, Mike.
Big
But-
Country.
Good. He did a good job. Writing's good.
Yeah.
Acting is good. Obviously, like it is famous for that one scene of De Niro and Pacino going back and forth,
Hmm.
being like, "You do what you gotta do, and I'll do what I gotta do."
Pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
But the editing, and I know I keep talking to you about this, is not good. Like for a movie that I've heard so much praise about for years,
Yeah.
like I was shocked at how sloppy some of the editing is.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's probably just because I am an editor. And
Yeah.
I'm just like noticing it, but it is just like how.
You have been doing a lot of editing
It's
recently.
true.
Yeah.
So
It's probably more in your brain.
yeah. And I don't think it's my favorite movie, but again, I can see that it's a solid movie.
Mhm.
I was left unsatisfied.
Mm.
I'm gonna read my letterboxd
Okay.
for it, and it doesn't. It's probably not my most accurate actual, but I just think it's funny.
Hmm.
The ending didn't leave me very satisfied. They should have kissed. And then in quotes, I say, "Love your brother. Here's a little kiss goodnight." Mwah. Because
Putting "they should have kissed" in every letterbox review is pretty good.
'Cause I don't want to spoil the movie, even though
They don't kiss.
it came out in 95 or whatever. But they don't kiss. It ends with them like holding each other's hand. And it is like this like that's a shame.
Hmm.
And like I'm just trying to like think back like there's a scene where De Niro is breaking into something, Pacino is watching him on a camera,
Hmm.
and someone in the truck makes a sound. De
I
Niro
have seen that scene.
De Niro hears it,
Yeah.
and the way that they shoot it is so good
Yeah.
because they hear the sound, De Niro spins around and is framed right in the middle of the camera. It's just his head, and he's looking right into the lens, so it's like he's looking at you.
Hmm.
And then they reverse shot to Pacino
Hmm.
looking right at the camera, so it's like they're looking right at each other,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful.
Hmm.
You get this scene, and then throughout the movie, Pacino is like, "This guy's good. Like this guy is good. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's like impressed.
They admire each
They
other.
admire each other.
Yeah.
There's that famous scene where they're just like, I get why you're doing what you're doing.
People like that movie because there's mutual respect from the two
Yeah,
characters.
and it's just like all of this stuff, and it would have been mwah, if they had mwah, at the end. If they had been like, love you, brother. Mwah.
Just a little one.
Just a, I'm not saying make out. Just don't be afraid to kiss your brother.
Square on the lips.
Anyway,
Hey, we made a movie. That's part of our.
we made a movie. It's called Hello, My Name is Friend Man. The trailer is out. It's gonna come out in November of 2024.
It might be on YouTube. It might be on a different platform for specifically for short films. We're looking into that.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
Yeah, but it will. Fingers crossed. It will be. Our goal is to make it free to watch.
Yes.
So we will make that super.
Once you
publicly-
watch this movie, I feel like you'd understand why we want it to be free to
Yeah.
watch. Like I feel like the whole message is sort of
It's a guy with wielding the power of friendship.
Yeah.
That's our log line.
it'd be weird if he was like, I want friendship, but you have to
Give
pay.
me $5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go watch the trailer.
Keep an eye out on Tubi.
Share it around if you can.
Yeah.
But for now, remember to follow us on places like we said a couple times already. We're not going to hit on it a bunch
No.
more. But if you leave those questions and comments, we will respond on our other podcast, Virtual House Sessions. I will say if we eventually start getting like a lot of comments, we can't respond to everything. We'll have to just like choose.
Yeah.
But if you have stuff that's like, watch this one next, and we see like a bunch of people being like, yes, please watch this movie next, then we'll watch that one next.
That's how it works.
Yep. So I think that's all we have. We will see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.